I've always had a kinship with mule deer and an affinity for the wild, remote places they inhabit. Eight months ago, my friend Andrew convinced me to get into archery hunting. This is my first archery hunt ever, and I'm taking Andrew to a rugged piece of backcountry, a place I've come to love for its wildness. I have no expectation of killing anything, but I know this area well, having scouted and hunted it, and I know it holds big bucks.
Mostly any buck with a bow I'd be totally happy with, because we're in beautiful country. We backpacked in yesterday. It's hard as hell to get in here, and even if we didn't shoot anything, it's amazing country, so we're having a good time no matter what.
On day one, I had my first opportunity to fill my tag. We spotted a bedded buck tucked in some rim rock. I managed to sneak to within 17 yards of the buck, but as I was getting ready to draw back, he got up and bedded facing me and pinned me down. Eventually, he saw me and blew out.
That was your first stalk ever with the bow.
First stalk ever with a bow.
Hardcore, right there.
We weren't seeing many deer, so we decided to move on to new country.
We're basically just hunting off our back. We're not really camping in the same spot. We're just moving until we find a place that we want to end up, and we're just going to camp there, moving along these ridges. It's tiring, but it's also gives us, I think, the best opportunity, best chance to try and find a deer and do something with it, make a move on them. In this place, I've never had a problem finding deer like we have this trip, so it's been a challenge, but honestly, that's hunting. Just trying to stay positive about it. I know we're gonna find deer.
Good hunting partners are hard to find. I'm fortunate to have a friend like Andrew, who's equally obsessed with hunting wild country and has a penchant for adventure.
Physical aspect, it's way up there. The terrain is unrelenting. All day is up and down. You're on a rock or on a knife ridge. There's no flat, there's no trail, which is great. I mean, that's what you seek. That's what these deer are out here for.
Never know what's around the next ridge, and we're working hard to find those deer, and when we find them, I think we're gonna have a good shot at capitalizing.
I'm tired. My legs are feeling it, but it's just part of the gig, you know? You don't come back here unless you're seeking a very specific thing. Since we've been in here, I've saw 5 shooter bulls. Elk everywhere.
Bulls. There's elk everywhere. Bugling.
Goats everywhere. Elk bugling. Chasing cows, rutting.
Yep.
And we have deer tags, and we've seen 1 buck so far.
If you shot one of those bulls back here, we would spend 3 days packing that thing out of here. I mean, we're so far back in here.
Maybe at your pace.
It would take forever to get that thing out of here. And then we would spend 0 time hunting for mule deer.
In addition to the difficulties we were having finding deer, a strong gust of wind blew over and shattered our primary camera.
Pretty discouraged. We've seen one buck in 2 days. And we've been running ridges, doing everything right, trying to do everything right. But for some reason, we just haven't landed in the right spot yet. We're struggling a little bit.
Even when things are going bad, just remember, they can always get worse.
Somebody decided to not take a backpack to refill water, and then to trip, and then to step on his water bladder. And now we're down to the minimum on water bladders and water, and we're hunting mule deer in high country where there's no water. So, feeling pretty good right now. Real smart. Pretty sleepy. Brad's not letting me take any naps. I'm not really enjoying that. Plus there's no flat spots, so yeah, it's rough going.
I had an old coach who used to tell me that the difference between good teams and winning teams was that winning teams capitalize on their opportunities. I think that's kind of the situation we're in.
It's just a matter of time. It takes one buck to stand up in the wrong position at the right time, and this whole trip goes from kind of struggle fest to something we talk about for years.
After days of not seeing much, we found a place that looked promising and set up camp high on a windy ridge.
So after a grueling day yesterday, I went and glassed this basin and saw just a little 2x3 buck and a handful of does, and then came back here to find Andrew, and he'd already put his makeup on this morning because he's got to look pretty in the mountains.
Got real fancy.
So what'd you see?
Was over here checking some basins, saw a few does, ran back up to the kind of top of the ridge, and just looked over on the south side, and sure enough, 2 bucks feeding a little seep. I was able to kind of watch them as they fed up over a ridge. Went out of sight. Plan is right now, we're gonna race back over there, get a better vantage, look back in on them, spend the afternoon trying to locate 2 bedded bucks, and hopefully we locate them and go throw a stalk on them. Got a break. Finally. Got a break. One full day without seeing a single deer. Made up by one morning, so.
Tenacity and patience sometimes pay off. After 6 hours of meticulously picking apart one basin, Andrew finally spotted the bucks he was looking for.
High five, dude. I found a deer.
So it's the last day of our hunt, and I think Andrew and I are both about ready to throw our bows down the mountain. We both, on the last full day of our hunt, shot deer. You didn't see my deer because I was off in a remote place, and I didn't find it. You didn't find yours.
Nope.
There's no sugarcoating it. Honestly, we both hit deer. I thought we made a good shot. Found blood trails.
Both well within our effective range. You know, this is the adversity, I guess, that it's not over until it's over.
I feel terrible. We're gonna go look for my buck first, and then see what we find. I had a pretty good blood trail going yesterday, so we're gonna go follow that. I marked my last spot, see what we find, and then we're gonna go look for Andrew's buck.
A week ago, I spotted the buck I ended up shooting. After a 2-hour stalk, my second ever with a bow, I took what I thought was a perfect 55-yard broadside shot. After following a good blood trail for hours, the trail went cold and we never found my buck. Knowing the buck was almost certainly dead and I couldn't find him made me sick to my stomach. But this wasn't the time to feel sorry for myself. We had to go find Andrew's buck. Returning to the last spot Andrew saw his buck the night before, we found no blood or tracks, and in a last-ditch effort formed a grid pattern to search the timber. We needed a bit of luck, and finally we found some. Finding Andrew's buck nearly brought me to tears. I was so overwhelmed with emotion. We literally found a needle in a haystack. My first hunt with a bow didn't end like I had hoped. Sometimes hunting feels easy, and sometimes it feels impossible. That's just the way hunting is, and that's what I love about it. And in the end, my first archery season turned out all right.